So those in favor of just continuing to concluding remarks, please raise your hands. Okay, from those that I can see, most people do raise their hands. So, Mike, Colin, would you like to take it or should I start?
How about you start and I'll finish?
Okay, so let me share a screen. Let's see if this works. All these technical problems. Yep. Now share screen. So I hope everybody are seeing the slides. If not, sorry. Last talk, so slides are going to be a bit complicated. So, of course, now it's not working. So this is a great pleasure to thank all the committee members. We had 41 committee members, program committee members working very hard to make the reviews on time. I guess most of you know that usually SAC takes place just before crypto, which means that the deadline is usually May, but due to some unforeseen reasons, as Colin mentioned at the beginning, we had to shift everything a bit later, and we had to do everything a bit more squeezed than normal. And I would like to thank all the committee members for their great work, because I didn't have to run after any of them, especially as I can't because I'm in isolation. I would like to thank very much both Colin and Michael. It seems like organizing an online event is much easier than organizing it in person. You don't have to order coffee, take care of food. Nobody has these sort of pesky food allergies. Nobody's complaining about that sort of stuff. But then suddenly you have to start 55 different Zulip channels, process all the incoming recordings and that sort of stuff. So actually, Colin did quite a lot of hard work, and the same goes for Mike and his students, David, who actually operated everything that you see here. Each time you get this message in the chat coming from David or from Mike saying, here's the Zulip channel, go there, and reading the comments and that sort of stuff. And of course, there are probably quite a lot of people behind the scenes that Colin and Mike would like to thank later. So thank you to all of them. It is tradition to have a quick submission acceptance comments running around. So you see that the United States supplied quite a lot of submissions, then the UK, Deutschland, Belgium. You see the usual suspects you would expect to see: Canada, Australia. Interesting places that you wouldn't expect that much. We had a submission from Poland, we had a submission from Spain, South Africa. Actually, Sean just presented the paper co-authored by Christian. And our dear friends, Israel now has good friends in the United Emirates. So there is a half a submission coming from there, obviously just because of the new peace treaty with Israel. Nothing to do with dual affiliation of people from France, completely nothing to do with that. And you can see also the acceptance rate if somebody is interested. Any paper received 3 reviews. If it was a committee member paper, we had 5 reviews. So to make sure that committee papers don't get in just because they're committee members' papers, but because they are better than what you would expect. A few more thanks. The speakers, we had the SAC summer school, and first of all, it's not really summer. Second of all, it's a bit hard to make this thing work, especially when everybody are hiding behind black screens and or just being busy. And Jeremy, Antoine, Benjamin, and Vanessa did a wonderful job. Those of you who attended the summer school are probably enjoyed that. If you haven't, we have everything recorded, and I think Colin will post the links afterwards to the website. I would also like to thank the invited speakers. You never heard of them, Benjamin Smith and Vanessa Tig. They also gave great talks. I would like to thank all the session chairs running everything, checking 50 different Zulip tabs to make sure that there are no questions, and the chat, and making sure that everybody are removing their slides, and of course all the speakers. These are not very easy times for all of us, but especially for the speakers who have to wake up at 4 a.m. I think was the weirdest thing that we had, right, Mike and Colin? Or we didn't? Yeah. At the end we had to reschedule because 4 a.m. we couldn't decide. Does it mean that he has to stay up late, or does he have to wake up too early? So we decided to shift the talk to a different session. And of course, to all the speakers. Special thanks to all of you, actually, for sticking with us almost till the one before last slide. It wasn't easy. I know that sometimes in Zoom conferences, you have other temptations, like kids running around and shouting or other things to do. So thank you all for staying with us. And before I pass on the baton to Mike and Colin, just want to wish you all that we will see you next year. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be in Victoria, but I will let Mike and Colin to do that. See you all.
Okay, thank you, Or. Colin, did you want to say any last remarks before I wrap up?
No, just thanks everyone, and thanks to everyone, as Or said. So I did the opening, so I'll let you have the honors here.
Okay, so yeah, I would just like to echo everything Or said, and to add to that, to thank Or for his work in chairing the program part of the conference. So yeah, Or talked really nicely about all of the work to set up the logistics and everything and that, but of course there's no conference without any papers or a PC, and Or was taking the lead on all of that and did a fantastic job with that too. So I'm the chair of the SAC board, the steering committee, and as Or mentioned, the plan for next year is to have SAC at the University of Victoria. Riyam Altawi has agreed to organize it. With any luck, we'll be able to go there in person, so fingers are crossed for that. Watch for further announcements and information about that going forward. I'd like to also echo what Or said. So recordings of all the talks will persist. They'll be sitting on researchseminars.org and probably mirrored on their SAC website. The Zulip channel that we've set up for all of your talks and presentations will also persist. So feel free to keep the discussions going on that as much as you would like. One thing to look for on that, I'll be shortly asking the question about timing for SAC. One thing the board was talking about is that SAC is traditionally held the week before crypto, but in recent years, this has been conflicting with Usenix, with various workshops before crypto. So we're kind of interested to find out how many people like to attend both SAC and Usenix. And we're suggesting to move SAC next year slightly earlier by a few days, and I'll put that in the Zulip chat, and anyone has any comments or feedback about that, that would be greatly appreciated. So I believe that is everything. So hopefully we'll see you all in person in Victoria next year, or in the worst case on Zoom again. Thank you all for all your work and your attendance at SAC. That's all.
Bye, Mike. Thanks a lot. See you next year.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to you too for helping us pull this off and get it all done running actually.
Well, and thanks a lot to David.
Yeah, thanks again, David, for helping us out with all that. That helped considerably. Oh, I should stop recording again.